The three operators named Moody Blues, Skadi, Chen, and Mostima are infamous for being not very usable. Like a washed up content creator, they peaked in the past and fell out of usage once the game got harder. With their fancy new modules though, maybe it's time to give them a second chance. You're not performing on the field as well as I thought you would. Oh wait, I just found this battle outfit on Amazon. Maybe that could do you some good. Yeah, I'm sure that whale plushie will terrify every enemy on the battlefield. Guard Skadi's talents give all Abyssal Hunter operators more attack while decreasing her self-redeployment time. The extra attack is pretty big, but the redeployment time is not that great. Especially with today's roster that features Phantom, Skadi's redeployment time isn't fast enough to compete with him in this niche. She's used to kill enemies that fit this weird window of time between Phantom and Surtur. Her usual skill before she got power crept was her second, which is a passive skill that just gives her a bunch of attack on deployment for 30 seconds. It was an okay skill, and then came the day of reckoning. Okay, so let's move on to her third skill. It increases her attack, defense, and HP by a lot. If you couldn't tell already, this is the main issue with Skadi. All her skills just increase her stats, and with nothing that makes her actually stand out besides, wow, this number is very big. She can be easily power crept. She doesn't occupy multiple niches, nor is she specialized in a certain one. Skadi's main usage was Heli Drop Big Damage Assassin with her S2. Phantom killed her usage a bit, but Surtur was the final nail in the coffin. You could be on lethal amounts of copium and say that Skadi's usable for enemies who have very high arts resistance with high HP, so Phantom can't kill them in one go and Surtur would do less damage than her, but then nearl Altar arrived. Skadi's third skill is very powerful, but most of the time there is no real reason to use it because of her short range and single target nature. Like, yeah, it's great at dealing with tough enemies, but most of the time you'll have better options. Now, Skadi's module came with the Invitation to Wine event. Basically, when she dies, she doesn't, and has less HP with more attack speed. Skadi also gets some HP and attack from the module. Did the module fix her? I'd say yeah, to a pretty good extent. She can now deal way more damage and tank way more with it. It sounds nice with S2, but in my opinion, Skadi's third skill benefits the most from it. With her extremely high HP on her third skill, she revives with around 3,500 HP with all of her tanky goodness and big attack stats. While the module is a great benefit to Skadi, it doesn't actually bring her usage up to match her with her top contender, which is Surtur. Surtur's still just outright broken with guaranteed invincibility and big damage along with the range extension and multi-target that Skadi doesn't have. But with Skadi's fancy new module, she's actually decent now. You want to find the meaning of friendship in order to get stronger? I mean, it's not that hard. Show 'em, Lapland. Chen's first talent gives operators with offensive and defensive recovery charge skills 1 SP every 4 seconds. Her second talent gives her some attack and defense, as well as a small physical dodge chance. These talents aren't that strong. The SP charge talent is helpful to operators with offensive or defensive charge skills, but the operators that actually have these types of skills are like, what? The skill 1s of anti-air snipers, some defenders that people sleep on, and guard skill 1s. What used to be extremely common back in the day is that people would pair Chen with Lapland skill 2 for amazing synergy, but Lapland was shot in the back of the head by thorns, so that strat is extremely inefficient now. The most use people get out of Chen's first talent is herself. Since all of Chen's skills are offensive recovery charge, it's mainly a benefit to herself than to other operators. Her second skill is the infamous Drop Delete Retreat. Its main use was to insta-kill enemies you don't like, but now she can't even do that due to the enemies getting tankier. On top of the fact that her redeployment time is pretty long, it's not worth to use this skill for Chen, which leaves us with her third skill. I share the same opinion as the Fang, which is that this skill has been slept on by a lot of players. If you want to see a more comprehensive guide on Chen instead of my baby overview, go watch his video, which I'll link on the info card. Basically, the skill does big physical damage. But wait, What is that I see? Attack scale? You know what that means. Buff time! Attack scale skills always pair well with buffs, and since her damage type is physical, you get more out of the buffs compared to buffing an arts damage option. It's a better instant delete option than her second skill, but requires some SP charging and buffers, which is a real issue with Chen. She's similar to Exu in which that they both require heavy investment. Masteries on her third skill along with buffers and debuffers. This doesn't mean they're bad though, since sometimes buffing and debuffing is a better option than just placing down, say, Silver Ash. With the existence of Chulter, Guard Chen's usage was sealed shut, since why should you bring the less damagey version of her? So did Chen's module fix her? Her modules make her skills do 10% more damage and gives her some attack and attack speed. It doesn't sound like a lot, but the total damage from her third skill increases by nearly 20%, which is very substantial. Honestly, Chen's module doesn't fix her problems, since her wonky usage revolves around deleting your enemies from existence with S3. It just makes this delete button a lot stronger, which is great. Overall, Chen's not as bad of an operator that people make her out to be, and her module makes her burst a lot better. Mostima, have you been eating those vitamin supplements we've been prescribing you? It's not even that hard, it's just one every 12 hours, come on. I just don't understand why you keep skipping out on trying to get stronger. Mostima? Unlike Chen or Skadi, Mostima's usage at the start has been very little. I'm gonna try breezing through her kit since I feel like I've covered it enough for it to be repetitive. She has talents that increase the SP charge for all casters when she's deployed, as well as reduce the movement speed of enemies in her range. The SP talent is amazing and reduces the downtimes of casters greatly, and the reduced movement speed helps her with her niche, which is crowd control. Her third skill expands her range, increases her attack, increases her second talent's effectiveness to 3 times, and makes her attacks push all the enemies away from her with a small force. I've said this a billion times already, but Mostima's main problems are DP and SP. Mostima's module decreased her DP cost by 8 and gave her attack and attack speed, so you'd think I'd be somewhat happy with this, right? The answer is no, not really. DP is a big issue, but the fact that operators like Mudrock and Ifrit are still used in contingency contract shows that it isn't the thing holding her back the most. Arknights is a skill-oriented game, and the fact that her skills have the absolute worst downtime in the history of Arknights kills Mostima's usage quite a bit. It doesn't even need to be anything big too. Something as simple as increasing her initial SP would work wonders so she could hella drop her third skill. Sure, her damage would be lackluster, but the crowd control potential would be enough of an incentive to use her. Hopefully she'll get something better in the future. Right? Right?